Okay. Stream is going live. If someone starts watching the stream, let me know if you guys can definitely hear me or not. You guys can hear me in Discord still too, right?
Yep.
Cool. Let me get my notes all organized here. Switch Discord back to the right channel. There we go. Okay. So this server meeting is going to be a little quicker than normal, as most of you know. Well, some of you know. I spent all day yesterday in the ER, and I just had to crawl my ass into my office to do this meeting. And I'm going to crawl my ass back to bed afterwards. I'm literally incapacitated. I can't walk. I can't stand up. I'm fucked up. So didn't want to cancel the meeting though. So here we go. So speed round. Those who don't know, the server meeting, I basically go over some notes that we had throughout the month. I pass it on to the lead admins, let them go over some stuff. Pass it on to the admins. They go over some stuff. We take questions from the players. I do a quick preview of our map. Speaking of which, Aliana, is that on test 1 right now?
I think so.
Okay. I do a quick preview of the map. I guess I might as well get the new version of that booted up while I'm talking here. And then the admins will give away some prizes in game to those who attended the meeting. I probably won't be present for that part. I really got to get my ass back to bed. Worst thing I can do for my injury is to sit, and that's what I'm doing right now. So during the meeting, I may take a break and let other admins cover some topics while I try to stretch out and get out of my chair. So anyway, first note I have. Sorry, I'm multitasking. I'm trying to get the new map up on the server at the same time. First note I have, explain suggestions. The channel is not I got a cool idea channel. Please stop suggesting things that just don't exist. You need to provide actual suggestions with actual ways to do them. Suggesting things like, oh, it'd be cool if I could file my taxes from inside my base in Rust, literally just waste my time. If you don't have an actual way of me to do what you want me to do in a suggestion, there's no point in suggesting it. And considering we are not accepting suggestions for new plugins, and we have not been for quite a long time now, what you guys need to understand is if it alters vanilla gameplay, it's a plugin. If you have a suggestion for a plugin that we already use, I'm down for that, but it needs to be possible. In other words, you guys need to do your research first. Like, let's say, for example, you suggest the slash remove tool should, should be usable with a gun that has a laser sight on it so you can aim it at the specific things you want to remove. Well, then you need to go and Google the remover tool plugin and see if that's even an option before you suggest it. You see what I'm saying? So it just saves us time for declining suggestions because we get suggestions like that example I just said with the laser thing, and nobody suggested that, but that's how off the wall the suggestions are. And they're not possible in the current plugins that we run, and we're not going to add new plugins, so there's not really much of a point in suggesting it. So if you have an actual solution, like, hey, I did some research and found out that the remover tool plugin has this option, I suggest that we enable that, or I suggest that we change it to this. I'm cool with that. I'm definitely cool with that. But suggesting things that are not possible and are not currently part of the plugins we run is just a waste of our time. And I would love to do your chicken horde. I really would. All right, so moving on. And give me 1 second. Let me click upload on this file. Like I said, trying to do two things at once here. Okay, next suggestion. Or next, recall your vehicles. We put the duration up so you wouldn't have to keep purchasing them or lose the contents of them. Raid Island is not a graveyard for vehicles, and we are not your maids. Our only recourse is to turn the despawn up, and no one wants us to do that. In other words, please stop leaving vehicles scattered all over raid-based islands, because that stops raid bases from spawning in those locations or anywhere near those locations, and that's going to cause us to just make them despawn quicker, and then that's going to piss you guys off, which we don't want to do. But
yeah, anyway. The other thing is then we find out also strange things that all of a sudden people start doing, and that will just make it so, you can't put them anywhere near raid bases or raid base island at all. And I don't think you guys want that either.
Yeah, if all else fails, we could always put a zone over the islands where you can't take vehicles there. So wouldn't that cause an uproar?
And I know a lot of you folks have been enjoying the fact that you can use your campers there and actually have a sleeping bag close by. So
Yeah, so just please quit leaving your litter. Walls, little structures you use to raid with. Obviously, you can't leave those on raid base island, but you know what I'm saying. Quit leaving stuff around, because it just stops raid bases from spawning. And then the raid base doesn't have a spawn location, and it spawns right on top of another raid that just despawned. And then some players like, oh, I died, and the raid despawned, and a new one spawned right in the same place, and now I can't get my stuff. It just causes all kinds of problems. So please stop. Okay, moving on to the next one. Oh, some of you other admins may want to elaborate on this because I wasn't around very much. But in less than an hour of PvP day, people were already being extremely toxic. This ends immediately, or we will no longer have a PvP day. I'm absolutely sick of it. I literally was so pissed off last PvP day that I was telling the admins in Discord, I'm going to cancel PvP day completely. Like I'm so sick of it. Um, Again, some of the admins may have witnessed it more if you want to add anything into that, but
Uh, I don't mind. I can just kind of go into it. The real fault of it comes not just with like the subtle jabs that people make, but the real fault of why it's become such a big problem is the people who want to put it on us like it's our issue. You know, I've actually stopped logging in on PvP day completely because the problem is that there's no way for us to be right in any scenario where we have to engage on groups toxicity. We're looking like we're having favorites, we're looking like we're having bias, and we're getting called out for that as well. And it's just really, it makes it so where we don't want to help at all, but at the same time we have to calm people down. So that's really why it's gotten out of hand, is the people who are trying to accuse the admins of this, that, or the other. I mean, we had a group that rage quit last PvP day because they said that we were playing favorites, and even accused an admin of spawning a heli in the air over another group to let them get free shots on it. Which, by the way, just to call that out, like that's not something we can physically do. That's not even a capability in our admin tools. So,
yeah,
it's just outlandish stuff.
we have no way to drive a heli. We have no way to just leave a heli sitting on somebody's head. Doesn't work.
It's just really frustrating constantly taking the flack when we're just trying to tell people to calm down, or people will be like, well, we didn't mean it, or we weren't being that serious, or it's not that big of a deal, like you shouldn't have engaged. Like a lot of times we engage really early on and people are like, you're being reactive to this, and it's like, no, because we know where it goes. Because we've been around long enough to see where it goes. I mean, it starts with subtle jabs, and then eventually it ends with us losing long-term players. So that's the crux of it. That's the long and short of it, is it just needs to chill out.
Yeah, and remember everybody, like this is a game, and everything after PvP day is gone. Like we, as soon as we kick off PvP day, you have 20 hours, and everything on the map is gone. We're to a new map, so there's no point in getting angry because they've raided me. I mean, just go raid somebody else, or if they took all your stuff, be like, yo man, could you give me some of the stuff back so I can go raid someone else? Or you could even work out with them and be like, hey yo, you gave me an online, let me do an online for you. Half the time, like most of our PvPers can be fairly chill if you're being chill too, but there is this set that tries to go off the handle, treat it as a PvP server, but just chill out on the toxicity because there's no name calling needed, no blaming anyone for anything needed, no accusations needed. So
yeah, especially the accusations. I'm gonna touch more on this on another note I have later on because it goes into the whole admin accusation thing. But yeah, the toxicity has to stop, or I will stop PvP day. You guys have to remember, PvP day is one additional day per month that I have to physically be in this chair in my office at home configuring stuff and changing stuff and clicking stuff. Like my wife even knows, like, oh no, babe, that's the night I gotta flip the switch. I call it flip the switch to her. She knows what that means. She knows, oh, that means we can't do shit that night. We can't go out, we can't go on a vacation, we can't do anything. You have to be at the computer to flip the switch and reconfigure the server for PvP. So it's not something I enjoy at all. I don't take part in it. I don't watch it. I don't enjoy PvP day at all. So, and a lot of our players don't either. It's actually our least populated day of the wipe. So if the toxicity keeps up, I'm going to get rid of it because I don't like it anyway. And it's there's just no reason for the toxicity. Like it's just, well, we have it because a lot of players do enjoy it. Actually, when I was a player on a PvE server before I even made this server, I loved PvP day, and that's what I played for. My entire wipe was playing for that end day, for that final day. That was it. I built my base. I got my stockpile of weapons. That was my goal, was PvP day. Now, of course, raid bases didn't exist back then, but you get the point. So a lot of people play for PvP day. A lot of people love PvP Rust, but they don't like being offline when they're at work. So they come to a server like ours where they can farm, they can build, and then they can fight. And I fully support that because that's how I used to play. I have multiple jobs and kids and everything, so I fully support that. But at the same time, if it's going to keep being so toxic and causing so many fucking problems, we're going to get rid of it. And I don't want to do that to the people that enjoy it. So please stop with all the crap. And yes, the stream is going. All right, moving on to the next note. Oh, well, the next note ties into that. Perfect. Here we go. There's a new rule coming out, and I already put this in the announcements, and people have already been banned for it, and they claim that they didn't see it in the announcements, and honestly, I don't care because I posted it there. I've tagged people. I've even posted a screenshot showing where the new rule was. Claiming admin abuse or they have admin help without submitting concrete proof of those accusations to us will result in an immediate and permanent ban. This means Discord, game, team chat, anywhere. If someone sends me a YouTube link and it's a video of you claiming it, not even logged into Rust, ban, period. If you have proof of one of my admins cheating or helping players win during PvP, submit that proof to me. I have caught and banned an admin once using NoClip just to get onto an iceberg. So I do not tolerate any admin cheating or abuse, period. My admins will definitely tell you that I don't play when it comes to that shit. There's numerous times I've probably pissed half these admins off when I ask them, like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you clicking that? What did you use that for? Hell, I did it to James last night and he wouldn't even do anything wrong. So I'm constantly asking my admins what the hell they're doing. I don't play that crap at all. So if you have proof and you send it to me, trust me, action will be taken. I've banned our top donator. I've banned one of my best friends, in Rust was banned from our server and was an admin, a lead admin. So I don't play that crap. But to slander our hard work and voluntary dedication to this community without actually backing it up is a complete insult to what we are doing here. And quite honestly, I'm fed up with hearing crap like this from salty players on PvP day or players who come here to troll or break our rules and then they want to go play the victim card, kind of like that Oblivion thing. This ends immediately. If you make one of those two accusations without submitting any sort of evidence to me or another lead through our support bot, you will be banned without any warning at all. And I mean that. And actually, I have banned people for that since that rule has been typed. And I didn't warn them. I didn't do anything. I just banned them. I don't play that crap. The guy, what was that guy? What was that major one? Remember that one the other night, guys? It was last PvP day, I think.
It was like
say his name. I'm not trying to call people's names out.
It's the one that I mentioned. He said that they were confident and that we were holding helis in the sky and that people that had been beating them in PvP were admins.
He said, as you all know, the patrol heli sometimes just gets stuck in the air. It's always happened on custom maps, like as far back as I can remember. So I'm sure you guys have all seen that happen before, where the patrol heli just stops in the air for no reason. It's just sitting there. So he said DVN, if any of you have played PvP day before, you know that DVN is going to kick your ass at some point. That's just how it's going to be. There's nothing you can do about that. DVN is a badass. So of course we were getting our every wipe accusations of DVN hacking. And, he wasn't hacking. But this guy was, I'm sure that, he's just an admin. Or I don't even know if it was DVN at the time that he was talking about when he said the pet thing. But
somebody else completely. And then they said that he was an admin.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to go into it. It's just.
No, I want to tell the whole story because I'm pissed.
Yeah, so they said that it was actually about Bill Cosby. I don't know if you're here today or not, but he said that he was an admin and that an admin's actively raiding me right now. I've seen admins hold helis over this group so that they can kill them easily. Like anybody needs that kind of help, but regardless.
Yeah, so he's basically saying he had video evidence that the admins cheated for this guy because he saw the admins freeze a heli in the sky so they could just take it down nice and easy. Like, dude, first of all, helis get stuck all the time. And then he was sure that these were, and he said that they were the admin's pet or something like that, and that's why they were rating him. It's just bullshit. Like, we're so sick of hearing that kind of crap. So stop with the admin abuse accusations. If you don't have proof, it will get you banned instead of the admins in trouble. All right, moving on to the next one. Oh, time to give our quarterly speech about how we want the server to be hard. We want you to die and lose stuff. This is a survival game, not a build server. Yeah, there's not much to get into on that. It's just we have to do this almost every month. I mean, the point of this game is to try to survive, try not to die, try not to lose your crap. You honestly have to be really careless or try really hard to lose your crap in this game on our server because it's PvE. No one can raid you. You have a backpack that does not drop when you die. So literally, I cannot think of a single situation that you would lose all your stuff unless you personally took steps to do so. Whether those steps were on purpose or whether those steps were you being careless, you can't lose everything on our server. That's just not how it works. So we get tickets and rage quits, and they try to guilt trip us too. If you can't help me, then I don't know why I'm going to play here anymore. Well, then go play somewhere else because this is Rust. It doesn't get much easier than this. We get those kind of tickets every day. Like, if you can't get my stuff back for me, this is bullshit. I'm going to quit. I'm going to go play on a different server. Well, then fine, bye. Because that's not how we are here. I know a lot of the other PvE servers out there, you can just shovel money in their pockets and they'll give you everything, and you can just have everything handed to you. You can recycle and workbench and do all this stuff while you're running through the woods. You don't even have to go back to your base. You can just do all this crazy stuff. That's not how we are here. We actually want a challenge. We want it to be a challenge for you. We want you to die. We want you to get killed and lose stuff because you can't get back to your corpse because you dove into a monument that was over your head. We want that kind of stuff to happen. That's literally the point of the game. So please stop with the pity party. And again, I don't even see anybody in this channel right now that I specifically remember doing something like this. But we do get these kind of tickets almost daily, and it gets really old really fast because we feel bad. We don't want you to lose everything. We want you to have fun, but we're not going to hold your hand. The server is meant to be hard. That's the whole point. So, yeah, and on top of that, like Beetle said, I mean, hell, if it's that bad, just ask in chat. These players are so freaking they're so freaking nice. They literally probably give you more stuff than you had in the first place.
Well, I mean, to go
Next
now,
note.
nice there. Who was it? Yesterday, I think it was something like that. Like, he was giving like fucking like 10K silver and an M249 to people. Like, hey, I'm giving these out. I'll pay you to take an M249 from me.
Yep.
Like, people do that shit all the time. It's easy to get geared back up and do stuff.
Aliana just worded it in a perfect way. The point of the issue is people try to make it our issue. It's not our issue. If you do something stupid and you die and you lose all your shit because you were dumb enough to have all your stuff in your inventory, that's not our problem. That's how the game works. So that's a good way to put it, honestly. Okay, moving on. Oh, sorry, I'm really hurting. All right, let players know how pleased we are to see them piling into the server voice chat channels. It really helps build community, and we might start stopping in there to say hello. Honestly, I've been gone the last week. Is that still happening?
I'll speak to that if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna stand up and try to stretch out for a second here.
Yeah.
No, you're not talking anymore.
Hello.
There you go.
Hey, there we go. Sorry. Hey guys, we love seeing you guys on the Discord server. I understand that it's fairly easy nowadays to start your own Discord. A lot of people have their own, or a separate community or a game group. The community here, as you guys experience on the server, is generally pretty friendly and helpful. And I have popped in on a number of occasions to groups of players either on the same server or on different servers, and they're just shooting the shit and hitting rocks and building stuff, and it's just really great to see. We like having you guys up there, and we certainly encourage it. It's not a requirement to play on our server, but it's a great way to meet other players and get tips and tricks and get the inside scoop on bosses and things like that. So we welcome you guys to use our server. We do have, if you scroll down We do have channels set up for the different servers, main 1, main 2, light, terminus. So feel free to use that for your group or just to pop in there and meet some other people on the server.
Cool. Yep, good stuff. We love it. When I have more time on my hands, I'm going to come up there and start hanging out with you guys too. I've just been out of town for the last week and then real busy trying to get these maps ready. All right, next note. And thank you, Nola.
Fucking Briscoe.
What did Briscoe do now?
What he posted.
I don't even want to know.
We're getting into Zeal Discord. Yay, push to talk is enabled, right? It's enabled, right?
That's in the admin one. I don't know if it's in the other channels. We have our admin voice channel set to push to talk only, at least the main one, because
No, the
I
main
can't
one
stand here. I can't stand here. Or is it lead that's that way?
It's
senior.
It's senior.
Senior. Okay, yeah, senior staff channel, because I can't stand hearing people chewing and burping and I think every single staff member we have vapes, so we got to hear that shit every 5 seconds. It's freaking annoying. So.
But I don't know what you're talking about. T.
Right?
Get on the cool train,
So-
T.
Anyway, yeah, it's annoying. All right, moving on. All right, let's see what's this next one. I got to read ahead of time to make sure I wasn't being too crass when I wrote the note. Oh. All right, so not sure why I need to explain this. It has been this way for like a year, but for some reason we are getting flooded with players lately who start a raid base, then die. And before heading back to the raid base, they decide to stop and make a sandwich, file their taxes, deliver triplets, and hand carve a bamboo spatula set before
Do you
heading
want me
back
to get this one, T?
before heading back to the base. What? I
Do
got
you
it.
want me to get this one?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I might have you jump in when I'm done reading this note. Then they wonder why they are locked out of it with a cooldown. Go ahead, Drake.
So, as that exactly says, I don't know how many tickets we have gotten. I don't know. It's numbered in the hundreds at this point over the last month. And it is literally, we can look at like, rough time logs, see where things have been said when you've died. And I don't know how many times I've had a player that's been like, I'm locked out of my raid. And I go and look at it and they died 30 minutes ago. And the first word I see of them getting locked out of the raid is a half hour later. And I'm like, what do you want me to, what do you want us to do about it? At this point, there's not much we can do about it. If you lock yourself out of your raid, guys, you lock yourself out. If it is a thing that we can actually bona fidely go, okay, it's a glitch, we'll let you back in. But realize, guys, the way the locking system works, the way the refresh on it works, is it is all based on you doing damage. If you have sat inside the loot room of this base for 15 minutes and haven't done a single point of damage to anything in this base, 5 minutes later, you're getting to boot out of that raid base. So keep that in mind, because if you don't damage the base, your timer is going to go up. There's actual now little inactive timer. Also, it sits on your screen that tells you you have 20 minutes left. You have 13 minutes left. You have whatever. Keep a watch on it, guys. Because again, I don't know how many tickets I've answered alone, let alone the rest of the admins of someone getting locked out of their base. They had to go back home to go apparently file their taxes, craft some boom, run an hour-long tea for sulfur so they can make more boom, and then they wonder why the base is unlocked and they can't get in.
Don't forget the bamboo spatula set.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, and they also had to personally craft their own pencils so they could run Scantron sheets versions of their taxes.
I mean, you got to remember, too, they had to grow the trees to then cut them down to pulp them to make the paper for the taxes, so...
But, while we're going slightly absurd, guys, really, just keep an eye at a time, There's only so much we could see, and we're generally going to err on the side of caution versus erring on the side of, who and what. So if we see that you died to a shotgun trap at 7, and the first word out of your mouth after that is at 7:30, I'm going to say you're AFK, and I'm going to say you lost the base.
So, in a nutshell, we haven't changed any settings for that in quite a very long time. And actually, the last time we did change a setting was raising the timer longer that you could be away and not lose your base. So we haven't actually nerfed or done anything negative to that in a long time. We're talking years. So yes, there are a couple glitches here and there. I know there was a glitch where if you hit a PvP hard base, it was locking you from other hard bases, which it's not supposed to do because PvP bases aren't supposed to have any kind of cooldowns and stuff. And I know there's other situations too where like it's not showing you that you're locked out, but you are. But the point being is 90% of the time it works fine. 99% of the time it's you doing something wrong that's causing it to happen. Like you're sorting loot while you're in the base. You're looking around, trying to figure out what angle you're going to take for the next, doorway or whatever. And then you're like, well, shit, I need to go back to base and get more boom. Or even worse is, you're sorting through loot and you're doing stuff and you haven't destroyed anything in a couple minutes. And all of a sudden you get your friend over there and then you go peek around a corner and a shotgun trap kills you. And you're like, shit. And you're back at your base when you're like, well, I got like 15 minutes. Let me do this. Let me craft some boom. Let me go run to the bathroom real quick. But you don't realize while you were still at the base, you had not done anything to the base in probably 5 minutes. So you really don't have the 15 or whatever minutes that you think you have. So that's the problem we're seeing is people aren't realizing the time, the last time you damage that base, that time starts ticking before it's going to go idle. And when it goes idle, you lose the base and you're now locked out and have a cooldown. And actually, I don't think the cooldown even starts until the base is completed by someone else. If I'm correct, you can't quote me on that.
Yeah, you don't get a cooldown until the base is started or until the base is completed by someone else, or
completed or despawned.
But you're locked out though.
Yeah, as well, it can affect you with if that happens, whatever, right? And you get locked out of going back into that base, and you try to just spawn your own base, you'll find yourself locked out of that base too, because it's going to tell you need to wait for the previous base to despawn. So I've seen that.
And mind you, I'd like to throw that out, folks. The reason why that's that way is we had people exploit stuff in the past. And this is why, we turn to people and say either, tell us exploits, let us know, or, because we'll take a stance on something and all of a sudden that changes it for everybody.
Yeah, all this is implemented, and actually we are the reason this stuff was implemented. We had Nivix add all this stuff way back in the early days of raid bases plugins because people were exploiting it. They were purposely not finishing bases so that they could move on to another one. And then when we changed that, then they would purposely just let the base go idle so that they can move on to another one. And people were exploiting things. So that's why all this stuff's in place. So anyway, moving on because I'm dying here. I got to get out of here. Next note. Oh, we've already mentioned this countless times. Building pre-raid bases during PvE time outside of people's bases that you want to raid is not allowed. Building turret pillboxes around your enemies' bases during PvE time is griefing. This is very against our rules. We are tired of having to sweep the map for this activity and tired of just warning players. We will be escalating our actions against this. So yeah, every PvP day we have to fly all over the map and find all these people that are doing that kind of stuff that I just described. And honestly, that's not in our job description and we're getting tired of doing it. So if you're exploiting the fact that it's PvE time so that you can get a good, head start on the person you want to raid, that's exploiting and that's griefing and it is not allowed.
And we check, if I see a little 1x1 sitting by, the biggest PvP base on a server, we check these things. We look at it. So don't do it.
It is in the rules. It's called griefing players and exploiting. All right, moving on. Oh, give insight to what all we do with maps and monuments. So I'm going to breeze through this quicker than I planned on just because I'm obviously in a hurry today, but just giving you guys a kind of a behind the scenes curtain or behind the curtain view of what we do with these maps. Because, most PvE servers out there, especially now that custom maps are such a big thing. Back when we started, there was nothing. There were no custom map websites. You couldn't buy custom maps. There was just nothing. I remember my little convoy on Splatter was like the coolest custom monument ever made, and that was nothing. Anyway, so now that everyone has custom maps and everyone's selling custom maps and they're all over the place, I'm gonna pull the curtain back a little bit on what we do here differently, because it's not the same as what you see out there. Because we get people all the time, oh, I saw this map on what's that sellout guy that does all them sellout videos, Shadowfrax. I saw this on Shadowfrax. Well, no, you didn't. I promise you didn't, because ours is different. So when we get a map, whether we make it from scratch or whether we get it from a website, we first put it on test 1, and this is the map like construction server, I guess you could say. This is where we alter things, we change things, we delete tons of monuments, we delete tons of custom content, we add tons of other custom content of our own. And then we go through and we have to fix topologies, we have to fix terrain, we have to fix all kinds of. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me click a channel. Those that are watching my stream, let me go down here to one of these channels. Lost World, here we go. So for those watching the stream right now, this is all the work we do. So all those people that were saying, oh, I saw this map on Shadowfrax, everybody's running that map now. I promise you, they're not running ours, because look at all this work. I'm just going to scroll through here real quick. We do tons and tons of customizations. We rework every monument. Aliana has a chart she uses to make sure the key cards that are available and the key cards that are necessary are all in like an equilibrium. And as you can see from me scrolling here, Nola there tests every coastline for every rock, every iceberg, we literally, I mean, look at some of this stuff, how fine the fixes are. Just a little bit of a float right there on that wall. The amount of time that we go through on these maps and change things and fix things. If you're looking at all these notes and then you see the custom monument list, there's that. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And so these maps are nowhere near where they were when we first got them. I'm still scrolling for those that are watching the stream. I mean, it just goes on and on. As you can see, we do, and there's the chart we do with all the stuff we're going to fix and all the stuff we're going to check off. And once a map gets completed with this stage, then it gets moved over to test 2, which is our plugin server. And in the test 2 server, that's where we have to configure all the boss monsters, all the custom NPCs, all the zones, all the warps, all the, the quest vendor guy and all that kind of stuff. We have to go through and configure all the plugins and make sure everything's working that way. So once something is done on test 2, then it's pretty much in final production and ready to go live. So we spend, again, I'm still scrolling. We spend a lot of time and a lot of work. And by the way, the one I'm scrolling through right now, I know it looks like a lot, but I'm sure every admin in here will agree with me that Lost World was actually probably one of the best maps we've ever got. That didn't take a lot.
Probably the easiest map we've had as far as fixing things.
It really did. So me scrolling through all this is easy. This was one of the easiest, probably the easiest map we ever had, as far as fixing stuff and changing stuff. And I'm still scrolling as I'm talking. It just goes on and on. Anyway, so I just wanted you guys to get a behind the scenes look. When you play on our maps, you're not playing on the same custom maps you think you're playing on. We really put a lot of work into these things. So anyway, moving on. We do not get involved with player trades. Okay, well, that one's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I really have to get much into that. If someone rips you off in a trade, that's your own risk. Obviously, we don't condone it. If we see it happen, we are going to note that person's profile. We keep detailed notes on all players so that if a dispute ever happens in the future, and we have one player that has, 15 positive notes, say, oh, he's so helpful. Oh, he's so nice. Oh, he's always doing things for people. And then we have another player like, oh, he ripped this guy off with a trade. Oh, he ripped that guy off with a trade. Oh, he was trolling this guy and he was trolling that guy and he put ladders on this guy. You know which player we're going to side with when that dispute comes up. So we will put a negative note on their account if they rip you off in a trade. But as far as trades go, we can't get involved in that kind of stuff. It is considered stealing, but it's not something we can get involved in because we're not an escrow service.
The other thing I'd like to point out, just on general, is think of how many times you see in your own chat, RP earned, RP earned, RP earned. Now think of the fact that right now in main 1 we have 54 people that is getting spammed with that. Our literal log for this is stupid.
Yeah. Our RP logs are insane. Every little action you take that gives you RP, which is everything, is logged. Every bit of RP you spend is logged. And then that's per player, all in one file. So yeah, we're not going to dig through that kind of shit. It's just not, we're not an escrow service. If you don't, you can technically, you can barter with other things besides RP then, if that's the case. because we're just not going to be your escrow service, or just trade with people you trust.
It's the same thing as like team politics. I mean, it's hard for us to be able to get a high level story from what is at our immediate disposal. And so, I mean, if you're too concerned about that kind of stuff, trade through a vending machine. I mean, I know you can't trade with RP through a vending machine, but you can trade with blood and paper. Do an, like for like trade with physical things. If it's RP, make sure that you're trading with someone you trust. Or make them send you the RP early.
I got an idea. Maybe we can see if Nivix has a way to alter the trade plugin to have a slot where you can type RP.
Well,
That'd be cool.
we actually got a really good suggestion for that we haven't had a chance to discuss, you and I, T, or all of us, I should say.
The whole item thing.
Yeah, I really like that idea. We can talk about it though.
Yeah, it'd just be a lot easier to have it just built into trade though, because server rewards, which is the RP plugin, it has a lot of API stuff where other plugins can tie into it. It's meant to be that way. Like a lot of stuff ties into it. So I don't see why he wouldn't be able to do that. That's some big lips. All right, moving on. Don't DM admins about server issues. Use the support bot. We actually just discussed this in our admin meeting an hour ago. Stop DMing admins, especially some people think they have a personal admin, I guess, because they were friends with the person before they were an admin or whatever. You don't have personal admins. All that stuff gets sent, when someone DMs an admin, it gets sent up the chain to us leads. We get to see all that. And it really angers us because you're putting that person on the spot that they're going to get in trouble as an admin because they are told from day one that that's not how we deal with things. And so now, let's say you're DMing Tainted, and Tained's like, well, fuck, like T's going to see this and be like, what the hell are you doing, man? You're not supposed to be doing like that. But this person keeps DMing me and I don't want to be an asshole to the person. So you're putting him in a bad spot because now he's going to be either an asshole to you and not answer you or help you, or just tell you or keep blowing you off and telling you to go to the support bot, or he's got to be an asshole to me and go against what I've asked, which is not to deal with players through PMs. So you're putting people in a tight spot when you do that, and it's not really fair to them. And honestly, you're making them look bad because, like I said, they're in a tight spot. They're going to piss somebody off, and that's not fair. So please stop DMing our admins, or I'll just disable DMs for all admins, and it won't be possible. Next note. Yay, we've only got 2 notes left.
I do want to add something real quick. The DMing admins, that includes in-game. Like, don't send us messages on in-game unless we message you first for whatever reason. Because like 3/4 of the time I'm AFK and I might look over and be like, why the fuck is this guy messaging? Like, I'm not gonna respond. We have a ticketing system for a reason for you to submit tickets if you need help.
Yeah, we've got pretty fast response times on our tickets, so there's really no reason.
Yeah, I'm more likely to help you if you send in a ticket than if you just PM me in game.
Okay, moving on to the next one. Explain why the phrase, but on other servers, ... is an invalid statement for everything. Bugs to mods to errors. It's just not a valid statement. I forget what happened that sparked me to type that note, but we get that all the time. Well, on other servers, this works this way. On other servers, this is that way. It doesn't matter. This isn't other servers. You just saw all the work we do to a map, and that was an easy map. That was a very easy map. That was a map that all the admins were like, oh, we don't have to do shit on this one. So imagine how much work we do on our plugins and stuff like that. We have an in-house developer who is one of the most famous plugin developers there is in Rust, probably the most famous now that he made raid bases, because that's a pretty popular one. We have an in-house developer. There's so many customizations to our plugins, even the ones that are publicly available to everybody for free. They're completely customized on our server. It's actually quite annoying because a lot of times an update will come out for a plugin and I'll forget that ours are custom, and I'll install the update and then shit'll stop working, and then I have to get Nivix to refix it again for me. So the statement, but on other servers, it's just an invalid statement. So please don't use that in an argument or a question or a suggestion or whatever. We're not other servers, not even close. And moving on to the last, that's exactly what I picture when I see that. But on other servers, they have nodes that actually spawn. Actually, I'll be right back. I have to go delete all the nodes off the next map. Give me one
second. This is why you people can't have nice things.
Give me one second.
Really hardcore map, man.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I actually
the
put it
next
in your
map
to-do
has
list.
another note on it too.
Next map, we're gonna turn it into Terminus. You're gonna have to get all your resources from scrapping.
Yep. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Now that nerf just caused us to lose all our nodes. Bring up roaming world NPCs again. So I had discussed this. Yeah, Trouble is in Trouble. You know, Trouble, did you ever notice that you were the star of that whole Oblivion thing? Did you ever notice that? I don't know if you ever saw that.
We just talked about it earlier.
Oh, was he? I didn't see.
Yeah.
Trouble lives up to his name, doesn't he?
He needs help raiding, apparently.
His head is still swollen. That's funny. Anyway, but we're not going to discuss that. We don't want to give that guy any more attention. So the roaming NPC thing, I brought this up either last meeting or the meeting before that, and you guys, a lot of y'all seem pretty hype about it, and I was supposed to put up a poll, and I never did. So I'm just going to rehash it real quick, and then I'll put up a poll. For those that missed it, we used to have a long time ago roaming NPCs, and I separated them into 3 tiers: easy, medium, and hard. And the easies would be, in the easy areas, near temperate areas like grassy areas that new players would be at, farming and building bases. The mediums would be usually in harder places like the deserts and the tundra and stuff like that. And then the hard ones would usually be on the mountains in the snow and stuff like that, or near a launch site. And all they were is the easies were like, they look like players, cloth and burlap, maybe wood armor, a hunting bow or a nail gun. The mediums would have, maybe some roadside gear, coffee can helmet, and usually like a Revy or a SAR or something like that. And then the hards would be kitted out, metal, with like an AK or whatever. And anyway, and there wouldn't be a lot, there'd be like 2 or 3 of each tier total. So you'd have like maybe nine or 10 NPCs on the entire map, but they would just wander around like in huge areas. Like they would wander the entire map. There was no boundary. There was no limit to where they could go. And they would just wander around, and they were just hostile NPCs that looked like players. So it kind of always kept people on their toes. You never know, like, is that a player coming, or is that guy about to shoot me in the face? And it was cool because sometimes it would be a guy with a hunting bow, sometimes it'd be a guy with a Revy. And again, like I said in the beginning, I always kept the easy ones in the more common areas, the temperate biome. I kept the medium ones in the deserts and areas that people don't go as often, and I kept the hard ones in like the snowy stuff and whatever. And a lot of players loved it, and then some players bitched like, "Oh, I was walking around trying to AFK farm, and I got shot by a Revy," like whatever. So anyway, I just want to bring that idea up and see what you guys thought about that. I'll get a poll put up and let everybody take a vote on that. I really love it, and I miss having that. And I've talked to a lot of our veteran players that miss having it too. But some of you guys may not like that, so never know. It was pretty fun. And of course, we put good loot on them. We'd let them drop their kits and put some loot on them and stuff like that. But yeah, we need more ways to die. That's exactly it. Just more of a challenge. Got to keep you on your toes, as if shit falling out of barrels wasn't bad enough.
I heard more ways to die, so I'm just hearing I need to make more difficult bases for people.
Yep, more drop downs.
Yep, more drop downs, right, guys? Everybody loves drop downs.
Now, yeah, if I could get Nivix to program those bots so that if they saw your base, they would start raiding it, that would be awesome. Oh, that would be so awesome. Anyway, all right, so that is it with my notes. Does any lead have anything to bring up?
Yeah, I got something I could bring up.
Go for it.
So, people who pay attention to Discord or whatever, you might see, like, randomly, we might have a player in staff chat with us or in the admin chat or something like that with us. We typically, like, we make friends with players too, and, like, they help out. So specifically, like, I'll pull Briscoe and his group into chats, whatever, with me, so that I can take and get their assistance with fixing raid bases, because some of the raid bases, they'll be like, man, just like certain things just really difficult and hard to deal with, whatever. And it's like, okay, well, if it's that bad, show me, tell me what's wrong. I don't raid my own bases most of the time. I know how to raid and all that, and I'm really good at both. So I'm like, well, I don't see a problem with this drop. I know exactly how to do it. But then they're like, yeah, but it's a huge pain in the butt if you don't know exactly what you're doing. So it's we'll pull them down for stuff like that. They'll help out with like testing other stuff too. So if you ever see like players in the chats with us, it's most likely they're helping with something. We've pulled them in just to help out with something that we need a player's perspective on. It's not something that's gonna make it so that we're like going to help them out more on PvP day or look the other way if they do something bad. Nothing like that would happen. Like we'd straight up ban people. We don't care.
Realize there is a lot of stuff that as an admin doesn't affect me. Just outright doesn't affect me. People plenty of times, I don't know how many times I've gotten people murdered because I need somebody to test the high dive because I take fall damage regardless unless I'm in God mode because the zones don't affect me. So I need a player to jump out the sky and proceed to put their life in my hands and hope that they survive the fall.
Yep. So that's why, like, if you ever see people in chats with us, that would be the main reason. They're helping out with something in some way, shape, or form.
Cool. Any other stuff from you or any lead?
I don't
I
think
have
I
a
have
few
anything.
things.
Eliana?
Yeah, so I know you're trying to. I know you're trying to get out.
No, you're fine. I'm actually gonna move
Okay,
around a
good,
little bit while you're
I got a
talking.
couple things. So first of all, I just kind of wanted to thank you guys for your patience and zealousness, zeal for the boss monster stuff. You know, it's been really hard to balance them. I know when we started at the beginning of the month, they were too hard. And the problem is the plugin is slightly gameable, and so it's just been a real big trouble for us. But we do want to try to continue using them and making them special. It's been for me really exciting going around and seeing all the custom loot that they've dropped being displayed on people's bases. I've seen like last on the Jurassic Park one, someone literally had a tower that had just all the garage doors up, and it was really cool because I handmade those, and so I was like, oh yay, they really like it. Um, you know, please continue providing feedback. We're still trying to get them into a position where they're fun and they're not, you know, cakewalks, but at the same time, they're not so challenging that they don't feel rewarding. And so, you know, there's still some tinkering. I think that we've kind of found our niche for the loot. Now we need to make sure that the difficulty check is in line with that. And there's always going to be a little bit of muck-ups as well, just because the AI operates a little bit differently than the other AI that we usually use. So anyway, though, thank you guys so much for your patience on that, and it's really exciting seeing you guys enjoy that content. I also wanted to talk about skins. We had that timeout issue really, really bad going on with main one where people are getting Steam authentication errors. I've heard from some of the people who were affected that things seem to be a bit better. For other people, a fresh install or a clearing out of their skin folder seemed to have helped. Basically, my understanding is that we had a skin that we used at some point in the past that is now downloaded on you guys' side, and it's now causing some errors. And I think T provided a workaround and an announcement. So if you're somebody who is constantly getting hit by those timeouts, take time to go and do that. Although it may be fixed now, maybe it was just a Steam communication error. But regardless, I just wanted to call out that issue. And then as far as skins and skin suggestions go, I am going to try to get something up before Christmas for some festive skins. No promises that it's going to be massive like the Halloween one, but I will definitely try to get some Christmassy stuff in there for you guys. So, given that I'm about to work on it, if you have any final suggestions, please don't send me 3 pages worth, but a couple few, I can try to make sure that those are included in our next batch. And I think that's it. Oh yeah, congratulations to Knight Nola who got promoted to lead admin as well. I'm sure he'll have a chance to say something, but I at least wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, so
Real quick, while she's brainstorming and you're getting ready to do your speech,
That's that.
I got to touch on 2 things. I'm gonna stand back up and try to stretch out a little more here. You just reminded me of them with what you were saying. Number one, the wipe schedule in December. I'm about to post it here in a little while, but it's going to be the first 2 wipes of December. We have a really long December force wipe. So it was really hard to figure out how to schedule everything out, considering it's 35 days between the 2 force wipes. And then there's Christmas also, which we didn't want to wipe on Christmas. And of course, I like to give you guys a Saturday wipe because that's everybody's favorite. So we managed to narrow it down. The first 2 wipes are going to be on the shorter end of the spectrum. They're not going to be, they're not like a week long, but they're going to be on the shorter end of the spectrum. The reason being is the last 2 wipes are a little bit longer so that we can space them around Christmas. We don't want people, we don't want, no offense, I don't want myself to have to sit down and wipe on Christmas morning. So just know that the wipe schedule for December is going to be a little wonky. Like I said, a couple short ones and a couple longer ones, but that's why. And then the other thing is this Thursday, the force wipe, we know for a fact that almost everything we know and love is going to get broken. Face Punch, in their infinite wisdom, like they do with everything else, when they want to make a change, they don't just change something, they delete the old somethings. And the old somethings they're deleting is the AI of all NPCs. So, yeah. Basically, any server that has NPCs is going to get fucked Thursday.
And for those that have been here, they know the drill. For those that are new, don't claim stuff. Don't claim kits. Don't V-claim once force wipe happens. Go out, farm, put stuff in your backpack. Because if something happens, we have to wipe. The backpack is the only thing that has a chance of staying. I say a chance because there's always a chance we have to wipe it. But, if you all of a sudden claim your kits and you're this and you're that stuff doesn't wipe with the map necessarily.
Yeah. So long story
short,
this is going to be a rough day.
Yeah, keep that in mind and wait for the all clear.
Yep, real rough day Thursday. So bear with us. It's going to be a nightmare, especially being injured. So bear with us. Nola, take the deck.
Well, I wasn't sure what I was supposed to say here, so I checked with Mac, and he told me that I'm supposed to say I have nothing.
There you go. That's usually what Mac says.
This time.
T wasn't lying. He's like, this is not a fun job. This is not a promotion. This is a demotion into hell with all of the additional work that has to happen and responsibility. And look, hopefully I'm doing all right. Happy to continue to lend a hand. To all of our players, thank you so much. I mean, the amount of support that we get day in and day out definitely offsets the issues that we have to deal with and things that are less fun to deal with. And what I do ask is if you're ever in a situation, whether it be a lead admin or admin or staff, anyone who's spending their time to keep the server up and running and playable for everybody, is give them the benefit of the doubt. We're not out there getting our I'll tone back what I was going to say. We're not out there enjoying enforcing rules and stopping players from from having fun. And when we do step in, it's because we really do have to. You're causing issues either for the server, other players, or there's just some outright disallowed stuff that we have to step in. So if we do stop you and ask you questions or recommend some changes or just flat out say, hey, that's not okay, please stop doing that. Understand that it's not us saying, ooh, I'm gonna get somebody. It's us saying, oh man, hate to have to do it, but we got to go have a talk.
And on that same note, we probably had that same talk with 50 other people too, so we're not just picking on you, and we're not showing favoritism. So, all right, anything else? Nola, Aliana?
I'm good.
All set.
Track, you good? Everybody good?
No, I'm good.
Any admins got anything else? Nope, we good?
As always, cut down on the hey admin in chat.
Yeah. Please.
It's always much easier to get us with a support ticket.
Oh yeah. All right, we're gonna go to the Q&A. I'm gonna do the Q&A unless you guys think this would mess things up. Can I do the Q&A at the same time that I'm flying around the map in the helicopter?
It's a little bit difficult to do because you have to send the thing to the people, whatever, so that they can join.
I don't send anything to anybody.
Well,
I mean,
you could fly around and do it, and I can still do the requests and allow people to speak.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can just answer them while I'm flying around the map just to save some time. Okay, that's what I want to do. That's what I mean. I'm still going to answer people.
set it to 15 seconds for the slow mode. So.
Oh yeah, just let me know if there's if they want to type it, just read it to me because I won't be able to see Discord while I'm flying. But so anybody wants to see the new Christmas map we're working on right now, open that stream that Eliana just linked right there in Discord. You can see it. And then we're going to start the Q&A. For those who don't know, there's a button if you click on the server meeting channel, there's a button at the bottom, I think, that says, or at the top somewhere. I don't know.
It's at the bottom. It says raise your hand.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
There's like a little hand
bottom
with a message on it.
Yeah, it says raise your hand. That'll put you into a list to request to speak, and then I'll send you, I'll accept you, whatever, and give you the right to speak. And I believe it's at the top of your screen or the top of Discord or whatever, that it'll pop up with the thing being like, hey, click this to speak. So, but it's open for requests if anyone has a request to speak.
And again, if you want to see the new Christmas map we're working on, I am live streaming it right now. I guess I'll turn my game sound up a little bit.
So far, nobody's requested to talk to us. I guess they all hate us.
Go ahead and click request to speak if you'd like to ask us any questions.
Raise your hand. Oh, we got one. We got Corpse Man up.
Corman.
Invite sent.
It's funny because I don't ever want to type the full name, so I just started calling him Corpse, which is not correct. And hearing Nola say it correctly, I'm like, nope, that's not right. It's Corpse.
First time I read it, I always read it as Corpse, so I just say it that way now.
Hey, well, while we have Corman here, let's go ahead and clear it up. It is Corman, correct?
That's correct. After I don't know how many years, I just his corpse is fine.
Yep.
Well, also, I actually I used to have a buddy in another game that same idea, but he went by Corpse Man. So that's why I got confused probably in the beginning with me. Anyway, you have a question.
Oh, same question as last month. The water platforms, foundations, whatever.
Oh, absolutely not. No. If you knew the month we've gone through, I had no time to mess with that.
No, I didn't. I know. Trust me, I know the.
But I'm glad you keep reminding me. I'm glad you keep reminding me, though. I'm glad you keep reminding me.
Yeah, that just has so many possibilities.
It's been rough. We've been like at half staff for the last couple of weeks, and then, what that means is the rest of us got to make up for it, and then we've been trying to get Aliana to take a break for months now. So I think we finally pushed her to that limit where she's going to take a break, and that's a ton of workload right there. So it's just we're stretched really thin right now.
Oh yeah, we actually have a 45-day timer that if no one asks about it for 45 days, we implement it. So now I've got to reset it.
Whatever.
It's like the workday injury calendar. It's been this many days.
We need to test it out. Is the holdup? I mean, we need to check it into it and figure out how to balance it with our existing config.
No, I understand. Other thing I was gonna ask, and I know, like you said, y'all been it's been a rough month for everybody. Trust me, get it. It's kind of hadn't seen a whole lot of events over on 2. I don't know if that's kind of across the board or not, but like admin events or whatever. I know Insect tried to do one a little while back and nobody showed up.
Yeah, but, that'll put a kink in it.
I get it. I just I don't remember, honestly. I think that was the last time I saw anything.
Honestly, this wipe we've been very sparse on events, just between pushing out of maps, pushing out, getting everything ready. Because for those who still don't know, when they did HDRP, literally our 30, 40 map catalog just got obliterated.
We still haven't recovered from that.
Yeah,
and like I said, I'm not bitching. Y'all put out 2 maps last month, so I ain't bitching.
Yeah, the fact that we put 2 maps out last month was insane.
Yeah, and they were amazing. No real big, screw ups anywhere, or anything that, from at least our side of it that I saw that was, bad.
A lot of oh, sorry, Jack. Sorry.
As I say, the other thing is, though, saying this to us, sometimes we lose track of what we've done, who, where, why, what. So at least saying, hey, events on 2, we can be a little more like, hey, we haven't put an event on 2 in a while.
Yeah.
So
And I was
just
gonna
thank you for
say
saying
too,
something.
like if you see that we haven't done one for a while, there's no harm in like sending us a support ticket. Be like, hey, haven't seen an event for a while or whatever. Want to see if maybe y'all could get something going. And we might be like, oh yeah, I forgot, because we're testing maps all the time, testing plugins, testing configs, and so we get wound up in that stuff, and like we might just forget that, oh yeah, players like events. So
Yeah, but on the flip side too, I mean, what y'all have been putting out is fucking awesome. I mean, Aliana, the dudes with the doors and all that, that's awesome. We like our little doors showing off our doors, and the monuments. Everything's been is really awesome. Drac putting a freaking Brad in that damn zombie dome was. I'm gonna just not finish that sentence.
Eliana, you watching the stream?
I am. It looks
Is
really
that
good.
okay? I was
That's
gonna say
freaking cool.
no. Yeah, well, this is a new feature she requested, and this is my first time seeing it too. So okay,
Yeah, it
cool.
looks really good. It's still a bit dim, but
Yeah, I can see some spots I need to add some more crystals.
Yeah.
But okay, cool.
sorry,
Sorry to
Some of
interrupt you,
those
Corbs.
Nah.
I'm literally map testing as I'm previewing.
Put some of those crystals in the custom monument or custom build spots, please.
There's a hole right there. We got to pet.
all right.
You got
Yeah, we
anything
love
else
those
for us?
crystals. We love the no, y'all are doing awesome. Appreciate everything y'all do, guys.
All right,
Thank you,
cool.
sir.
I'm gonna be trying to keep this going quick just because T
Nah,
and
you're good.
his injuries. So, all right, cool.
Take a big old cup of suck it up, dude.
Right? Oh, I've been sucking it up for 12 years.
Oh, I feel you, brother.
All right, we'll talk to you later then.
Later.
All right, next we got Pink Lemonade.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
What you got
Very
for us?
quiet. I was wondering if you could implement the Revive plugin.
The
We
what?
definitely cannot.
You can.
No, we're not taking any new plugins. We actually have about 20 plugins more than we should have right now. Believe it or not, we're running, what are we running, like 101?
Something like that, yeah.
96.
What does a plugin do? I'll ask that question.
When you die, there's a revive box in the top right. It'll revive you exactly where you were, so you don't lose all your stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely wouldn't do that one. It's
Yeah,
already
Not
easy
doing
enough.
that. We already have something slightly similar in the sense of the TP corpse.
Yeah, you can teleport to your corpse.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, well, there
Yeah.
you go.
That perk is part of the rank system. So once you hit the 20-hour mark, get VIP rank, which you get a number of corpse teleports per day, and then you get more once you hit veteran rank.
Yeah.
Actually, it's pretty cool too because when you do it, it pops up a little menu that shows you your last certain amount of deaths, and you can and it shows you what time it was, what killed you, and you can click which one you want to teleport to.
Did you have any other questions for us though?
No, that was it.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so in game, if you do /info ranks and perks, you can see all the different things that get unlocked at different ranks, and you can get all of that by playing. It gets wiped every force wipe.
And by the way, I wasn't trying to shoot you down so quick. We just have a very firm no new plugins thing going on right now.
Yeah, okay. I was just wondering because I just started playing not too long ago, and I kept getting killed and losing everything.
Yeah, it made me realize that when you said you didn't know we had corpse teleport, and I was like, well, great. Now this guy thinks I'm an asshole and shooting him down. So no, we already have something like that, and it works pretty good. So definitely give that a shot.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
We'll move on to the next one then. Kelsonas, I believe. I think that's how it's pronounced. Kelsonas. Sent you an invite. Should be at the top of your Discord screen or something.
Core man, there will be a Sam up there. We're not even close to done on this map yet. I actually wasn't going to preview it tonight, and Eliana told me go ahead. Like, this is so rough. It's still on test 1. It hadn't even made it to test 2 yet. So.
All right. Kelsonas isn't responding, so I'll move on to the next one. Get out of him.
That's why you're not seeing any NPCs anywhere, because we haven't even got to the test 2 side yet with the plugins.
Get out of him. I sent you an invite.
He's gonna type his. He doesn't have voice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'll just have to read it to me then, because I can't see it right now.
Question for the admins. Going off the question about events, would it be worth having a couple of the active community members help with events to take some stress off you guys? Also, are there any plans for a monthly wipe server? The weekly wipes are tough for me being so busy with work.
So, question number one, absolutely help with events. Matter of fact, players can put on events, and they're more than welcome to request admin assistance with putting on their events, and they've done so in the past. And we can even, help with some of our admin abilities to get things set up and ready for those events. We absolutely love players running events because then we don't have to. So yeah, absolutely. Just you have to get with the admin team and discuss with them what you want to do, and obviously if it's too obnoxious, we're not gonna be able to do it. But definitely love that kind of stuff. As for a month wipe, absolutely not. I actually bring this up in almost every other server meeting. We've tried 1 week wipe schedules. We've tried 2 week wipe schedules. We've tried month wipe schedules. We don't wipe every week, by the way. We've tried all those schedules, and all of them were absolutely horrible. The worst one was the month one. I had players offering me triple digits of real life cash to wipe the server early. That's how bad it was. Literally begging me to wipe early. We tried 2 week wipes, and by around day 10, I had players begging me to wipe early again, and so much so that we finally just took a vote and said, fuck it, and we wiped early anyway because they were so miserable with the 2 week wipe.
I'd like to just point out I was a player then, and I voted against it because it
and then
there's nothing.
We tried one wipe, or we tried 1 week. You voted against doing that wipe schedule?
No. Voted against. Voted for the wiping.
Yeah, for the early wiping. Yeah, you made it sound like you voted against the early wiping.
No,
Wait, what?
Voting for it. Voting for it.
Yeah, I was like, I thought you wanted it too. Yeah, and then we tried a 1 week wipe schedule, and that was honestly, yeah, that is a little too short. But I mean, like, let's face it, people are taking out Bradley and Helly within an hour or two of a forced wipe. Yes, more casual players like myself included. I have jobs and kids and wife and dog and all that stuff. So yeah, it takes me days, to achieve end game where some people can achieve it in a couple hours. But there's absolutely no reason to make our wipes longer. And I can tell you with 100% certainty, we will never make our wipes longer. They vary, obviously. Sometimes they go a little shorter by a day or so, and sometimes they go a little longer by a day or two. But they will never be changed because we've experimented with it a lot. And I can tell you right now, main one would go from having a queue to having 7 players online if we went to a 30-day wipe. Even a 2 week wipe would probably be that low because it was hell. It was absolute hell. Our servers were empty. I had to log in like alt accounts just to keep one player on our server just to make it look like there was people there. It just emptied our servers out. So I will absolutely not do that. Sorry, that was a long, drawn out answer, but no.
Well, the requests are still open. I'll leave them open for a minute or two longer. But
if we don't have one, CMF. Oh, he deleted it. Okay, no, it's back. I was gonna say we should answer that question.
Yeah, I got Morphed Ghost here requesting to speak. Morphed.
Oh, wait for that first then.
There it is. So going off of like the Nightmare Fiends, like me, Trouble, and all of us, we've noticed that if we buy a Nightmare, it allows our other clanmates to go into raids, and then it blocks us out of the Nightmares, even though we're like halfway through it.
Tell them not to.
Well, sometimes they're not in Discord. Juice.
So
I mean, it sounds kind of like a bug. I mean, that's something that we could possibly mention in Nivix, see if there's something he can do about that. But
it's just one thing that we've noticed.
Yeah. The problem comes down to is it runs the same idea as someone started a raid or a clanmate starts a raid and the other clanmate can't get into one because of that. It's the same. It ends up being the same thing, and it's like the reason why we do it. We've had people exploit in the past, and we run into how do we fix this? How do we make it so this doesn't work? So it can't be exploited? Because now if all of a sudden it goes down to oh, they don't have to be online when you do it. Now people are just going to log off and try and make it so they're just not online and don't have to worry about this problem. And that's
the button T.
And that's just where the small issues at that point. And I can't really or as Doc Holiday said in chat, leave the clan for a little while, things like that, have them leave the clan. There's still certain limitations we have to work into. And, like, I can tell you from my experience, Doc's been around the entire time when we were raid bases and helped out a ton with that also back. He was a insane person like the rest of the admins. It may have been a knee-jerk reaction to an exploit, but it's all we've got right now.
And if I could just add one other thing. So Nivix is in our Discord, which is a huge asset for us. Also, T's streaming the sliding on the map on his chat, so tab over to that if you don't have it open. But Nivix is in our Discord. If you scroll down under NPC raid bases, there's NPC based support and NPC based suggestions. You can put suggestions in there, and he should have a chance to see them at some point in time. But yeah, a lot of the restrictions there come from back in the day when groups used to literally fan out and just lock every raid down that they could, and a lot of complaints that came from that.
Yeah, I was gonna say some of our older players may remember we literally had a clan that used to sit there and you used to be able to look around at the map and you'd literally just see their names on every raid. Sometimes 2 or 3 of the raids, because just this is before we changed things to make it work.
So for those watching the stream, this isn't done yet. That slope I just ran is going to have more obstacles and stuff on it. We're just not done yet. That's the more steep slope that's made for sleds. This slope right here is the more non-steep one, but it's longer. It's made for the snowmobiles. I'm probably going to take a car down it since we don't have snowmobiles yet. But from what I know, snowmobiles might be coming out next month. So we went ahead and had 2 slopes made.
Yep. You got anything else, Morph?
No, that was it.
All right, cool.
And I'm just going to piggyback. Honestly, Briscoe, I'll poke Nivix, because that's actually not a bad idea. See if there's something we could do with that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like this and with other things, which is why we get so touchy about certain asks, we're very limited to what the plugin itself can do without development requests, which in some cases we've paid for development requests, but we'd rather that be the exception and not the rule.
Yeah. Get out of him. I guess you have another question. Are you going to type? Is he going to type it? I can't see the typing channel, so.
Is there a way to put a timer on the bosses or kill train to reduce the chances of people cheesing those? I know that was an issue last wipe. They're really cool, so it'd be great to see that stuff again.
Boss Monster doesn't support that.
I thought doesn't it take time for the respawns?
It takes time for them to respawn, but there's no lockout. What he's talking about is
kind of like the Bradley lockout.
Yeah, Boss Monster doesn't support that, and neither does the cargo train event. Those aren't options within the configs.
Yeah.
And that's part of what I just said. We've paid for custom development, like we paid for Bradley lockout development, and that took many months of us trying to avoid doing. And even then, I mean, it was a huge pill. So for like a niche type of thing, just be considerate of each other. I know the people sometimes who need to hear this don't attend the meetings, but just try to be considerate. If you've killed like 3 bosses in the last hour, maybe you let the 4th one go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. The cheesing definitely was a problem, but we've kind of adjusted around that. So.
Got Jack Wrath requesting to speak. All right, you're in.
Yeah, I just wanted to know before I complain about it, I wanted to know if there's anything you wanted to tell me about that Bandit refinery and the tuning that you have for the respawn and all the snipers, the mobs, and the boss. Like it's supposed to be for a group, but I wandered in there and then got like 3 or 4 people to help me, and 3 or 4 of us all decided to bugger off at the end, discouraged. So I just wanted if there's anything you could tell me about.
So
your intentions there.
All our NPCs on every map for almost 2 years now are actually exactly the same. Same respawn time, same accuracy, same damage, same aggro range, same everything. We just changed their outfits and changed their names to make them look more like they match the monument they're in, with the exception of the sniper NPCs, but those also have not changed in a couple of years. We try not to put too many of those because they are pretty difficult. And at the last meeting, I did give a long speech about how we have to, how players need to remember that we have to cater our content for all walks of life. We've got retired people that just want to build farms and build RP bases, all the way down to teenagers who can clap all of us and are just nasty with a group of 8 friends that can just terrorize any monument or any PvP situation. And we have to cater to everything in that spectrum, from the old cat lady all the way down to the elite PvP teenager. So doing so, sometimes we got to have really hard content that just is not feasible to other groups, and sometimes we have to have really boring and easy and cheesy crap that the bigger groups don't care for, but the more laid back casual RPers do care for. So it's really hard to do, and we're definitely not perfect at it. Like I gave this whole speech last meeting. We're definitely not perfect at it, and we try to fine tune things and tweak things so that people can try to enjoy all the content. But there's always going to be outliers where, okay, this one's too hard for me, or that one's too easy for me, and that one's too boring, or this is too, if things are too easy, then the big clans will start gaming all of them and taking everything. And if it's too hard, then people like yourself are going to say, hey, that was bullshit. I didn't enjoy that. So we try to find a nice middle ground, and there's always going to be outliers. Aliana can speak more on that one, I guess, because you, I think, laid out the NPCs in that specific monument itself.
Yeah,
But the setting wise, I'm telling you right now, they're all the same, literally all the same.
And that default, by the way, is 5 minutes. So NPCs respawn in 5 minutes, which means that if it's taking you a really long time to kill them, then they're going to be respawning when you're in there. I think Frodo actually just said, we took it out, but we did a lot of sniping before anyone walked in with just 2 people. There's ways around it, but when we put stuff out, one of the it's really hard because half the time we get feedback, oh, this is too hard, and then we get feedback where it's like, this wasn't hard enough, we'd like it to be harder. And so we want to offer some bit of a stair to go up to. Like, okay, I'm all kitted out, I've got my best guns, I've got meds to spare, and this is going to be a triumphant thing to take this over. But Bandit Refinery is definitely one of the tougher type of monuments, and this goes into the monument scaling that T kind of touched on recently, that we have been trying really hard to scale our monuments a little bit better. I forget what it was, like maybe 2 months ago, I was looking at our map and trying to suggest content to a new player, and I realized that every single monument that we had on the map was super beefy. And so we've been now changing up monuments, and even rewiring power, changing doors, adding doors, removing doors, to try to make an easier level monument, a mid-level monument, and then a hard monument. Bandit Refinery, in my opinion, for the map that you guys are currently running, is the hardest monument in the game, so it should be difficult. And perhaps it was too difficult because of just getting caught out, which is really easy to do in this game. I mean, there's not a lot of variables we can give you on the front end to help you prepare for that on the back end. But if you've got a full group, utilize the positioning of the fact that it's sunk in and there's high ground on either side of it. Realize where the snipers are spawning and get on them straight away. There's ways to overcome it, but it may take more than one effort and one time to do it. And I hope that's a satisfactory answer. I'm sure that you were triggered about it. I would have been too, and I'm just sorry about that.
No. To be honest with you, I guess my question is morphed to when I very first started on the server. There's like warps to Zombie Island, which I went to, and it even warns you this is for a group of 4 people. I made it all the way to the top. It was difficult, but I did it all by myself. There wasn't a lot of loot. There wasn't a lot of point. I complained about it in global, and they were like, yeah, it's just supposed to be for people to go enjoy themselves. Okay, so I look on the map. The other warp point is a boss with 10,000 HP in the corner that is hidden behind jump puzzles and 3 different cards. So I figured in the middle, in between those two, you just said, in your opinion, is the hardest one. But if you're a noob to the server, there's no map. I have no idea of guessing the waypoint between the two. So 5,000 HP on the boss in the middle would lead me to believe that he is less hard than the 10,000 HP locked behind a jump puzzle and 3 cards, but he's not. It is insanely harder. So if tuning the Bandit Refinery isn't the answer, then maybe providing like more clear information on what is a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, whatever custom monument for new players, so I don't get trapped in some kind of death loop that makes me all frustrated.
That's a fair enough point, and it's something that we can talk about with our team and see if there's something we can do.
Hey, Aliana,
Yes.
there's a new feature in the map editor where I can color map labels.
Oh, well, that's what I was going to say is we'll talk about it and see if there's a way for us to call that out a little bit better. For what it's worth, I kind of am in agreement with that. In fact, I think we just talked about this like a couple weeks back, but for how things are right now, our status quo, it's always been our stance on that we leave that up to our players to discover themselves, and to learn about themselves, but you can always ask in chat and learn from other people. I mean, especially if you're new, I always say it on main one, like there's a meta to our servers. There really is. And the people who know our meta, they just scream through content. And then people who are new are like, how'd you guys do this so fast? And then they talk and they communicate and, sometimes even make friends. And then, it just lifts up their enjoyment of the server overall. But yeah, it's definitely something that, I mean, we could discuss. I don't have any short answers for you straight away right now, though.
Yeah, we'll try and figure out something.
That's it. Thank you very much. I love it here.
Thank you. Appreciate
No,
it.
thank you for the suggestion too, because those are things that we can do something with. So,
real quick before we bring in the next player, just to touch on that. One thing I always did as a player, and something that I recommend for everybody, because everything isn't necessarily transparent as to difficulty or requirements, is to really start at a distance. Put yourself in that situation in real life. If you saw something like the Bandit Refinery, a bunch of guys walking around with guns and smoke and stuff, you wouldn't go running through the front base. So take time to scout out monuments and kind of poke at the perimeter and see how it feels, because usually you'll get a pretty good idea from a distance, and it can prevent you from dying.
Another problem too is Rust by default. Let's be honest, Rust vanilla, the monuments are bullshit. Like, let's just be honest, they're really bullshit. So people come here and they don't realize, wait a minute, I might really get clapped at some of these. So yeah, but he's right. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about some solutions to that.
All right, next we have Ara Ara. Sent you a speak request. Ara Ara. Nothing?
Ara Ara. Paging Ara Ara.
There you are.
Yo.
Hey.
Sorry, it took me a while to find the accept button.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I was gonna ask another question regarding the subject about the monuments. So the Darth Maul one, I loved it. The Jabba's Palace monument, I loved it, every single bit of it. But I was gonna ask if there's any way y'all can add a little bit more loot to it.
Add a what to it?
Add better loot to it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have suggestions for loot in our monuments, throw them in suggestions channel, and we'll definitely take a look at them.
Yeah, because it like, we had to like get like half the server together to go kill it because of that drop down point. He kind of like just one shots you. So when you have like 10, 12 people doing the monument, like people don't really leave with any loot.
Yeah, and just to call out, these are the boss monsters that you guys both have been talking about. The feedback, so I kind of talked about it earlier, that the first time we put the boss monsters out, they were ridiculously hard, and we had hoped for them to be, but because the AI was so cheesable, people were cheesing it, and it was just disappointing to see. But I don't blame them, because I wouldn't have wanted to walk into that either, because they were meant to be super hard. So we decided, okay, we're just gonna downscale them like dramatically, and we'll make them that if people are cheesing it, we don't feel like that, oh man, they're just getting free loot, but at the same time it's still fun. And then the feedback that we got was that we downscaled them too much and they weren't even challenging at all, and that's Jurassic Park boss monsters. So if you guys were around for that, I mean, I watched somebody just walk up and just gun one straight in the face, and it was like, okay, well, that's really, you're just paying for the ammunition at this point. So we tried to scale up a little bit, and for the ones that are like more in bossy type areas, like in the Rad town and in Jabba's Palace, we kind of tried to make them feel more like a climax to those monuments. But I can gather from the feedback that either it's too much or we need to increase the loot to have made it worth the while. So we'll definitely take a look at that next time we run this map for sure.
Yeah, it's one of the things, like if stuff like that's happening, you're always welcome to like submit in the suggestions like some feedback on them, or even put a support bot, take it in with some feedback like, hey, found this guy to be like just super easy, might want to scale him up, or hey, this guy's just insanely difficult, you instant die when you get near him, could we scale him
I didn't have a
back?
problem with the monument. The monument was fun, getting a bunch of random people together and like, cooperating to take down the boss was fun and everything, but at the end of the day, some people just lost more than what they got, what they
Yeah.
came with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Let me ask you this though: did they have
part of the
fun?
game, so.
Yeah, well, we all had fun.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's the main point. Is just to have things for fun. It's a game. You lose things in games all the time. It's not always like, oh, I'm gonna get loads of stuff. It's mainly just, hey, have fun with it. Like if you have fun with it, then we're satisfied with that too. So, you got anything else for us?
That's it. Thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you,
no
sir.
Problem. Next up we have Lance. I'm gonna have him be the last one. So requests are off now.
All right. So I just want to let you know the server's dope. I've just been coming off of like vanilla and shit. It's really fun. All right, just like take a little break, like enjoy some PvE because it's good community too. Like it a lot. First of all, I just gotta say the zombie land. All right, it's dope. All right, it's pretty challenging taking a solo, but I killed the boss. It was pretty. It wasn't like too difficult, but I definitely could have I was expecting a little bit better loot out of it. You know what I'm saying? Other than like 20 springs and like 2 garage doors and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's like what, like 7k health.
So are you talking about Zombot?
It's the one like when you like TP to the zombie land, it's the back of the zombie land. It's like
okay. So
right there.
there's actually a second boss there, which is we always call it Zombot. We usually feature
All right.
Zombot somewhere around the map, and Zombot always drops his kit and a crate, a hackable crate. The boss you killed was a boss monster boss. And
Okay.
those are the ones with the radars around them, and they drop off of a loot table, and so you might get some better stuff sometimes and then not other times, but their loot is scaled down like I was just discussing, and the main reason why is because the AI is kind of dumb, and it's super cheesable. And when we had it have really good loot, people were doing things like sniping them from like 2 grids away and just completely cheesing it, and just basically getting free loot. I mean, we literally were like putting walls up around their islands and stuff to try to force people to actually go do the content and not just cheese it. But I mean, after like there was a week where I reconfigured those boss monsters every single day for a week straight, and there was just no getting around the AI's inability to react properly to being in combat. So
I'm
the
pretty
loot
sure
is
Eliana
scaled
almost
around
lost
that.
all her hair that week.
I literally said in staff chat, I said, nobody talk to me about boss monster today. I will not talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody talk about boss monster that day. No, next time somebody says, anything about boss monster, just getting rid of the goddamn fucking plugin.
But
that came from both her and T.
They're kind of
It's still here.
They're kind of cool things, and it's fun to mess around with them. The problem with them is just that they're too gameable, and so we can't make the loot too good because then people just game the hell out of it, and it starts drama and complaints, and then eventually that's how we lose a plugin because we just don't want to hear it anymore. So this was our attempt to adjust that.
But by the way, thank you for all the compliments on the server. I love hearing that kind of shit.
Yeah, and the zombie horde, like it's a good aspect. I like it because it's just like kind of like a fun thing to kill when you're like out and like about. But it's like when I loot it, you know what I'm saying? Like I see like the like Frankenstein pieces, and it's like that'd be sweet if like you could use it or like you could switch it out with something else because it's like I don't think it's usable. I don't know about on the server.
The table has been added to the loot.
Yeah, so
cool.
Yeah, it's in the zombie hordes.
I was gonna say the one thing is the zombie parts we can't, we don't change vanilla loot. So that's the one thing on that side.
Yeah,
that's vanilla loot.
Part of the zombies that are only supposed to come out during Halloween. So
yeah, I know that.
So what we did to counter that is we put the table in zombie hordes, like the actual hordes, like where there's a whole group.
Yeah.
They actually are the only thing on our server that has custom loot. And so the zombie hordes will drop the table.
Oh, gotcha. Because I was like killing a lot of them. I was looking for a table because I was trying to like look at shop and stuff. And yeah, and I also like that you can't like actually like buy any guns with RP. Like,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
like that, because like that would have been just way too OP and stuff. I'm sure you guys already know that. You know.
Oh yeah,
At
definitely.
that point, you could buy everything with RP, and then we learned that lesson real fast.
Pro tip about the zombie parts, though, they do recycle. They recycle into bones, animal fat, and human skin. Human skin's awesome for composting, or you can sell it for RP. Bones are also really good for selling for RP. Just gather them up and save them up through the wipe. I usually make like 1 to 5K on bones every single wipe. Like you can get really good RP off of bones. So
On a side note, we need to add a vending machine to your Christmas tree farm that sells Christmas tree stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I'm like new to the server about like all this RP stuff. Like have to like I just find out new like stuff about like like plugins and stuff like every day. Yeah, like I was in this call like made one like I think 2 days ago. I was watching one of them do like a nightmare raid, and like the hardest thing I've ever done was like the hard raid on this server. Like I haven't done an expert or anything, and that was like pretty tough. So I like the raiding aspect in the server too. It's like it's definitely not easy, you know.
And
like,
the cool thing is, our NPCs don't call you the N word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wait till you get one of my drop bases. You'll hate me for that. So
I'll look out for those. Trust me. All right.
They tend
Thank
to be
you for
the
having me.
experts or nightmares. So
Yeah, I like how like every single time I ask for like support on this like like a support ticket or whatever, I get like an instant response. It's pretty nice. So I do like that. It's like a really responsive team. I like that.
Thanks for being part of our
Yeah,
community, man.
good stuff, man.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep. Have a good one.
You too.
Right,
and then Drewby did have one question. He had said that he's not able to see any of the skins after doing the fix for that. You guys have any ideas while we're
Takes a long time.
Yeah, there's a lot of skins that you have to download. I'm still downloading the skins myself, whatever. So my suggestion is like if you have time that you're gonna walk away and do something else, log in, just stand there AFK and let it give you time. Give it time.
One thing you can do to speed up that process is once you delete that folder, go into Steam, validate your files. It will usually pull down the workshop files, which doesn't it gets it into game quicker, but it prevents you from having to just passively download them in game. I found it to be a little faster.
It just takes a while.
But keep in mind, it's 14 gigs.
We also haven't seen much of an issue since I think today with with people getting DC'd by the Steam stuff. I did a full reinstall yesterday, was still getting dropped out, and then I was just sitting on main one for over, I think, like 2 hours without getting dropped. So I think they might have also fixed what was going on. So if you do a full reinstall, just a uninstall, reinstall, it's faster than validating the files, and will give you all the skins right off the bat.
So one thing that I noticed that I did not exit out of Steam when I deleted my files, and even though I was in game for several hours, it had only downloaded about 6 or 7 skins.
Yeah, you have to make sure that you have Steam completely turned off when you do that fix.
And then Drew's follow-up question was, you said the cooldown for raids doesn't start when you're locked out of a raid until someone else finishes the raid. For me, it starts as soon as I'm locked out. It would be cool if it didn't start until someone finishes it, so if no one takes it, I could just relock it. I think T said it shouldn't start cooldown until someone else finishes it, but I wasn't sure if that's how it works. Hello?
I'm 1 second. Brain.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So when you lock a raid, your name essentially goes onto that raid as one of the players listed as involved in that raid. Problem is that name essentially doesn't get released until the raid is completed or despawns. Now, when you leave a raid, your name is still technically there. It's just you are not an active raider on it anymore, and yes, you hit that status of inactive raider for that raid base. Problem is, your name is still attached to that raid base. Again, if I had a Nivix here, he could probably explain it a little bit better than I would in the grand scheme, but because your name is still on that raid base and not, and the raid base is not considered complete, it won't come and swap over to that complete part.
And do remember, like, the reason why it's configured that way is to stop people from cheating the system. Like, there were exploits that involved you like walking away and the base released, and then now I can do this, that, and the other, and then come back and finish off. And it's just to try and stop that from happening.
Yeah, then in 30 minutes, all of a sudden the 3 bases they just did all finish and despawn.
So
correct, because you are technically still part of that base that exists.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the unlocked, like the timer starting right when you get unlocked, it was because we had players that would half blow a base or blow everything except for like the TC, and then just let it unlock and then start another base.
And it like not allowing you to relock to the same base, whatever, was kind of, in a sense, punishing. It's think of it like a punishment for like deciding to go AFK and make yourself some bamboo spatulas and stuff like that. Like that is kind of the reason why that exists. Is it's like, well, you decided to just step away and leave the base, and that leaves something that takes up a base slot on the that could spawn, right? Either it takes up the location or it takes up a base that someone could do. And so with you walking away, it becoming open, it's sort of a punishment for like, well, you just left the base, now someone has to clean up the mess, sort of thing.
So with that in mind, does anyone have any other questions? Because I think that we're wrapping up here, and you guys should probably start heading over to towns on your respective servers. Okay.
I don't know, do we have people on every server ready to give out prizes?
Yep, I'm at main
Yep.
2 in the furnace.
All right, so we've got main 2. We got light. We got people on main 1.
Yep.
We got people on terminus.
I'll go over to terminus.
Okay.
I'm already on terminus in town.
So for those of you who are here who might not have done this before, whatever, or new, at the end of all these meetings or whatever, we give out prizes for you attending, because it takes time to come here, listen to us talk and all that. So if you head over to your town on whatever server you're on, we should have admins standing by. You get a choice of either 50 rockets or 50 paper.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys showing up. And
I'm back, by the way.
to all of us. I'm looking forward to showing you guys this Christmas map. We're putting a lot of TLC into it. Welcome back, T-Bird. We're just wrapping up unless there's something else you want to show off or talk about.
No, I'm just dying. I had to step away for a second. I'm sorry.
Yep. Trying to end it. Go step away again so we can hurry up and end this.
Yeah, you guys gonna give the prizes?
Yep,
that's what we're doing right now. I just called it out, so I'm gonna stop the recording now.
I'm gonna end this stream. I'm sorry, guys.